The following is a quotation from the philosopher, playwright, teacher Lucius Seneca, who lived from 4 BC to 65 AD. A favorite philosopher of mine, a very wise, amazing man, no doubt. But on this one subject, anger, I do disagree. This is a quotation from his book on anger. There is no more stupefying thing than anger, none more bent on its own strength. If successful, none more arrogant. If failed, none more insane. Since it is not driven back by weariness, even in defeat, when fortune removes its adversary, it turns its teeth on itself. In defense of anger. For years, I have said that anger is a misunderstood emotion. While we in the people helping business will tell you that emotions are not subject to classifications of good and bad, we often make the mistake of making an exception for anger. When we read the quotation above from the philosopher, playwright, teacher, Seneca, we see that anger has had a terrible reputation, I believe unjustly, for a long, long time. The error here is really a matter of sloppy application of language. As often is the case, once we accurately define our terms, we discover new clarity. Sometimes we can allow a lack of clarity in language to stand and just call it subjective differences. But in the case of anger, an unclear or mistaken definition is problematic. In fact, it can be dangerous. At the risk of making the most arrogant statement of my entire life, Seneca is mistaken. The anger he describes in the quotation is imbued with intent, with attitude, vengeance. In short, the anger Seneca describes has an ego. Emotions are in a very specific category of energy, one that is actually quite simple and egoless. Emotions are communication about our cognitive responses. Emotions simply provide information. None of the emotions, including anger and fear, by the way, has an ego. None of the emotions has a personality at all. A simple change of language can make a huge difference here. What Seneca and others are really describing is not the emotion we call anger, but it is instead something we too often do with anger. Call it aggression. Like all pure emotions, we do not consciously choose our initial emotional responses. Aggression, however, is a choice. Anger is not a problem any more than sadness or joy are a problem. Problems, and the solutions for that matter, are products of what we choose to do in response to these feelings. For instance, when something makes me mad, I have the option to respond with aggression, but I also have the option to focus that anger and respond with effective determination. Anger is an energy that fuels strength. It is our choice whether that strength will be used constructively or destructively. Again, anger, not the problem, but how we respond intrapersonally, interpretation, and/or how we respond behaviorally, interpersonally, very often is problematic. Anger is simply an energy that tells us something is wrong, something is not okay. What we do with that message is entirely up to us, and we will be wise to stop blaming the messenger.